28, 29, 30. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of, it's not really first reaction, fan reaction, but
it's
we
Witty
are
Close sees
Witty
a
Close
film.
Productions. Witty Close sees a film. Yes, exactly. So as you can see, we are in a very different situation than we normally are, because Dara is back at her home. I'm not sure what side of me she's going to be on, and I am here in my home because we weren't able to get together on such short notice, but we're here because we had some Avengers Endgame feelings to talk about. We wanted to do a review while it was still hot off the presses, and while we were still reeling from seeing it. We both saw it Saturday evening at different times.
Yeah,
so,
it wasn't like Infinity War. We saw it at the same time, and then we're just
Right.
That's like one of my favorite experiences ever. Like, you texted me, and then we're just like, oh, we have to talk about this now.
Yes.
And by now, I mean 2 days from now.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but now we're just talking about it the next day. So we're saving ourselves some time, but we have to get these feelings out there. We have to get this review. The review must go on, of course, as always. So yeah, Dara, how you feeling right now?
Oh my, this movie, man, I don't, oh my, there's,
Same.
it's just like, like, I don't know if I wasn't necessarily like worried about this movie in general, I would say.
Right.
Really? I'm trying to think no, I really wasn't worried about it. Like, not being good or not. And then, but I'm like, well, maybe it's not going to be like as good as we think it's going to be. Is it going to be a good conclusion? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because endings are so hard. Like, endings are so hard to do.
But like every journey, it needs to end. I don't know what that quote was.
Yeah.
From.
I
know
sure
what it's from, but like, I don't know what the quote was.
Right.
But,
exactly.
But then like and like I was like literally avoiding everything. Like, usually
Like,
I don't. I'll like watch a couple
Right.
things that say non-spoiler, but I'm like, I'm avoiding everything until I see the movie.
And it proved to be like something that was worth it, because this movie, should we do a non-spoiler kind of section first, or do we want to just get right into spoilers?
It's good. I'd say good. It's great, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely
this movie was for the fans. Like, that's what I'll say. This movie is for the fans.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
And the 3 hours kind of, I don't know if they flew by. It felt like the length of a normal Marvel movie.
Right. So it did feel shorter than 3 hours. I mean, there was a lot they had to kind of pack in there. But I wasn't like sitting there like going like, oh my God, this has to be over. I didn't get up once to use the bathroom. I'm very proud of myself.
Neither did I. Well, I was like, because I went out to dinner beforehand, so I just like had one glass of water, and then I went right before. So I'm like,
we're good to go. Yeah,
we're good to go. And I don't even know what else. I think like unlike Infinity War, where like you're feeling like fun until the end when you're just like sad. This is like you feel everything, and by the end you're like, I'm happy. I would say
it was like that kind of like release of, okay, we're like done. Okay, we breathed.
It was a bittersweet ending, but like it felt earned.
Right. Exactly. Yeah definitely.
And I think that's all we can. You can't really talk about this movie without spoilers.
Yeah, which is so interesting.
I think also. So we're gonna get spoilers now.
Yeah, I think that was all we can say without getting into spoilers. So
it's good. Go
let's
see
move
it.
into
You
spoiler
probably
territory.
already saw it. It made $1 billion this weekend.
Yeah, like everybody saw it.
So this movie's gonna make all the money.
Yes,
that's what I'm wondering, because like it made $1 billion. Like everybody saw it, except for probably people like who don't care that much, and like I'm fine waiting 3 weeks. But then I'm like, is anybody gonna go see it a second time? I'm just curious. I'm not saying like.
Oh, I saw Infinity War twice
in the theater.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
it's just like
another time I saw it with a friend. So
yeah.
But yeah. So I know I debated it when I got out of it. I was like, I feel like I have to see that again, but I'm not sure if I want to see it while it's still in theaters. Somehow I need to wait some time to kind of process.
All right.
Yeah.
Spoilers. And
let's get into some spoiler territory. Yes.
Cailin, I think we need to state something, because I was listening to our pre-talk.
Yes, if you didn't hear our pre-talk, maybe you should go check that out.
So fucking cocky.
We were so confident,
but we were
that
wrong.
Certain things were going to happen.
We were so
that
wrong.
Did not happen. I was so wrong. I'll take responsibility for it, because if you guys didn't know.
Well, no, here's the thing. You ruined my joke, because I was going to blame it all on you anyway.
Oh, okay, sorry. We'll take that from the top.
No, here's the thing, because, like, I think, like, because you said, spoiler, even though we're in spoilers, Cap doesn't die.
Cap doesn't die. What?
What were you?
Oh my God.
What was your face when you were like, oh shit, he ain't dying?
I was like, it was really funny because I was like low key kind of mad because I was like very confident. If you guys don't know, I did this thing for Infinity War and I did it for Endgame as well. I left it upstairs. I should have gotten it.
You have it on your phone though, don't you? If you don't, I have it on mine.
I do have it on my phone where I made a bingo sheet for each movie of all the things I thought was going to happen. So I took all of my theories, some fun, some serious, and then I wrote them down. And both on Infinity War and Endgame, one of my first tiles I put down was Captain America dies. And I wasn't able to circle it each time. So I'm sitting there in the theater being like, oh my God, I can't believe I can't circle this on my bingo sheet. I am so mad.
Here's the thing. You put this down for Infinity War, and I'm like, he's not going to die because there's another movie, and he's definitely going to be in that movie.
Right.
So, like, I'm like, okay, I think you're wrong about that. I was kind of, like, on the fence, like, near the time it came out, but I'm still, like, he's not going to die. I'm like, right. I don't know. And then when this, like, stuff came out, I'm like, okay, you can put that down and you're going to get it because he's going to die.
Right.
And then he doesn't.
Then he didn't.
You know the weird, Tony dies.
Yeah, Tony's the one that died, and I didn't think that was going to happen.
Me neither.
I did not think that was going to happen.
We were so wrong, and we were so confident. And, like, I was even listening to the post-talk stuff in the pre-talk where he said, if we're wrong, this is going to age poorly. That's going to age poorly.
It's already aged very poorly. And it's so funny because I think I was like mad about it at first because like I was so sure going into it that this is what was going to happen that when I left the theater, I was like, I liked everything, but I think I'm kind of mad about that. Now that I've had some time to kind of like sit with it, process it, I'm like, okay, I see how it works with everything. I see why this makes sense.
It didn't end
oh my God.
It didn't end how I thought it was going to end, but I'm happy with the way that it did end.
Yes, exactly. I agree.
I was just kind of like, oh my God, Caelin's going to be so mad.
Right. I was like not like mad like I wasn't like stomping out of the theater or anything, but like, you know, I think there was a certain things where it's like I feel like, you know, we felt like for this kind of arc to end, like this is how it was going to happen,
but it didn't. It kind of actually makes sense. Like I'm kind it made should we like actually break down the movie, or should we just be like, could we just spoil the ending?
It's a lot. Yeah, we just spoiled the ending, of course.
But there's like so many cool parts though. Mm-hmm. Like that third act.
That third act, though. Yeah, it's like, how do we want to break this down? Because there's so much we could just kind of take it in chunks here.
Oh, my God.
Do we want to break it down into, like, a good, bad, ugly kind of thing? Or, like, favorites and least favorites? Or
I think we could probably just, like, break it down from, like, the acts. Because it's definitely a 3-act movie.
Yes. And, well, it's so interesting. The thing about this movie is that it feels like it's multiple movies in one. Because the types of things that they're doing are so separated. Not separated, because it all comes in and makes a complete film. But the types of things that they're doing are very kind of concentrated in that if you wanted to make a movie of just this act, you could have done it. Fine. Yeah. So that's what I thought is interesting. And no wonder it's so long. They felt like they're trying to squeeze multiple movies in one. But they did it right. And like Batman v Superman, which is also a movie where they tried to smash multiple movies in one, and it didn't work. Yeah. So this, I actually was fine with how they did it.
I definitely have like the act that I like the least, but I didn't dislike the act. And it wasn't even like Last Jedi where I'm like meh on it. I still like really liked it. But like favorite. If you have to rank them in like top 3, I have like my third. Right. But, like, I still really liked it. But, like, the first act was actually, like, incredibly interesting because, like, first of all, like, they kill Thanos, like, the first 10 minutes.
Oh, my God. Like, everything, like, the movie takes this drastic turn from where you think it's going, like, less than 20 minutes into the movie.
Well, first, we see Hawkeye's family die, which I think everybody...
Oh, the movie starts off on like the tearjerker moment. We're pulling like the first 10 minutes of the movie were probably the most emotional for me. Yeah. Like, cause it was just like this feeling of just like defeat and dread. And it was just so emotional. And it starts off without the Marvel logo. It just starts off right in the scene with like Hawkeye with his family. And like the moment you see it, like, oh my God, I know where this is going. This is going to be so heartbreaking. And it really was.
I kind of thought either like his entire, I mean, it's his entire family that goes. Yeah. I thought it was either that or, like, one of his kids was going to live.
Okay.
That's what I thought. It was, like, one or the other, but I'm like... Or even, like, I thought, like, I was, like, thinking in the back of my mind, maybe, like, just the kids will go, but I'm like, that's dark.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, if it wasn't everyone, it would have been like the kids, which was really depressing. But yeah, like it starts off with like this kind of cold open, and you're like, wow, this is surprising. I'm so used to, even Infinity War started off dark. Started off with the Marvel logo being shown and the cries for help from the ship with the Asgardians playing underneath. So yeah, this was a very interesting way to open it, and it just started off bang, like weird. And it's so funny. Well, the first like 20 minutes or so of the movie like felt like it was moving really fast. You're just like, all right, so like, you know, Earth is really struggling here. You know, things are happening. They're trying to track things down. They're trying to figure it out. Oh, Captain Marvel here is here now, and it's like, oh, suddenly, okay, they know where Thanos is now. Okay, weird. They're going to go face him like right now. Like, how can this possibly go wrong? But it doesn't necessarily go as wrong as you think it would, because Thanos is there and they just straight up kill him, like very like in cold blood.
Well, like their idea is like,
wow.
well, first, like if you're wondering like how Tony and Nebula get out of space, Captain Marvel saves the day. Captain Marvel Ex Machina.
oh, true. Yeah, I forgot about that, because I thought like out of one of the reasons why the first part of the movie was so emotional, that whole scene with Tony, Nebula on the ship, like when you cut out there wasn't a lot of dialogue in some of those scenes, but it was very like heartfelt. It was very like kind of, you know.
Well, like they say, like it's probably been like a month since everything happened, so they've been on that ship for a month, like getting to know each other. Yeah.
And so I thought just some of those, silent sequences there were really heartfelt and well done for just, that short amount of time. But yes, Captain Marvel shows up and just saves the day. Not the first time she does this in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the plan is generally if you get all the stones and then snap your fingers again, everybody will come back, which is actually how that works. So apparently, I don't know, like, I'll get into logic stuff later, but like, when I say like I want to break down some of the logic stuff that actually doesn't make sense, it doesn't mean I hate the movie at all. Right. It did not bother me. Like I thought about it, but I'm like, eh.
Mm-hmm. There's willing suspension of disbelief, but sometimes when you take a step back from it, it's like, okay, there's stuff here that doesn't make sense.
It took me a day to like break down all the nitpicks. So I'm like, it doesn't. I'm still, good movie. But so then they go to this planet where Thanos is, and he's like, well, I destroyed all the stones. So you're just like, well, shit.
Yeah, he's like, I used the stone to destroy the stones. They're gone now. You can't bring everyone back. Okay, the end.
And then Thor aims for the head.
Then, oh my God, everyone in the theater just lost their mind because he uses the Stormbreaker to, decapitate Thanos. He says, I went for the head. And you're like, oh,
and like the way he said it, he sounded broken, which like makes sense as to his life spoiler.
Because he feels like, because he was so close to getting it the last time, that he feels like a huge failure, and that really weighs on Thor.
5 years later.
The rest of the movie.
I wasn't also expecting that time jump.
No, was not expecting that time jump at all.
I was expecting like a year.
Yes.
Maybe a year and a half.
Exactly. There is a 5-year time jump, which also kind of complicates things later, but we can talk about that kind of at the end.
I don't know if I noticed that, but okay.
Well, it's kind of weird. But yeah, so.
And like everybody's just kind of down, like no matter what they're trying to do. Like Captain America's like a support group.
Yeah.
Was that one of the Russo brothers?
That was one of the Russo brothers, yes.
Which was like, that was something that got spoiled for me, even though it was like really dumb. It was like, the Marvel Universe is first canonical gay character. And I'm just like, all right. I kind of like that it was just like, here's like a character who is gay, but it's like incredibly casual.
Well, yeah, but like, is that really the only gay character we have in the entire goddamn franchise?
It's Disney. They're getting there.
Oh, don't get me started.
Well, we're not.
Don't get me started.
Don't worry about it right now.
It's not the first time they've tried. Right, so, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing I could complain about. But we're just going to keep moving along with this plot thing.
But so he is a support group. Mm-hmm. Nat is just like doing, like keeping everything together, I guess, or like
she's like, trying to keep helping to keep the peace around the world, and also trying to find Clint.
Yeah, that's because like everybody's basically like in separate. Like Okoye's, I guess, in Wakanda because somebody's got to take care of that.
Somebody's got to take care of Wakanda.
Captain Marvel's in space doing stuff.
Doing space stuff.
Rhodey's somewhere. Rocket.
Oh yeah, and Captain Marvel got a haircut.
She did.
Nice.
That's it. Oh,
very gay haircut. Anyway, but yeah,
Rocket somewhere.
Rocket's doing rocket stuff.
I like Rocket was good.
Rocket was good in this movie.
And Thor, we'll get this. Thor and Hulk have like I think like the more funnier where they are now, kind of.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But like, I think like talking about Nat, like you could tell like how like sad and kind of depressed she was because like she wasn't even taking care of the fact that like she like dyed her hair blonde and now it's just kind of like it's like
all the roots are literally like down.
It's like kind of like not that great looking, and you're like you could tell she just does not care.
Right. Yeah.
And
everyone's kind of struggling to take care of themselves, which is interesting.
And like Tony's not like living on the country with Pepper because like he got it because like Pepper didn't get dusted, which is good.
Yeah.
And
yes.
they have a kid now, which you did mark off your bingo card.
Yeah, I had on my bingo card. One of the spots I got was Tony and Pepper have a baby.
Oh my god, that kid was so cute.
Oh my god, she was adorable.
Oh, like I love adorable. You 3000.
Don't get me started. Oh, I know.
She was so cute.
Right in the feels. Yeah. So yeah, he's kind
so
of
he technically does retire. Technically.
He retired and then unretired later, but like whatever.
And then dead.
Yeah, and then so while that's happening, we have an interesting turn of events because Ant-Man.
The rat saves the day.
The rat saves the day. Yes, the rat in the van accidentally presses the button, which pulls Ant-Man out of the quantum realm. Because you didn't see Ant-Man and the Wasp, did you?
No, but I knew the end credit scene. I knew that like he was in the place.
The quantum realm, yes.
That, and then everybody got dusted. By the way, speaking of Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I didn't actually put this together till the end of the movie of this one. So Scott and Hope are a couple. Yes. Okay. Just wanted to know that. Anyway.
They were like on and off throughout the first couple films, but like they settled on.
Cool.
But yeah, so Ant-Man comes back, has no idea what has happened. Well, I think has no idea how much time has passed.
Because like it starts off comedically with the rat, but then it gets super dramatic because like he has no idea what's going on. Finds out about the vanishing thing, freaks out because like he doesn't know anything that happens, and then like walks through like San Francisco.
Yeah, he's running through San Francisco, and it's so emotional. See, I mean, Ant-Man gets a lot of the credit for being the comedic character here, but it is a very dramatic scene where he's like coming to this realization of everything that's happened. You see this giant memorial with all these names on it,
and his is on there because like everybody thought.
His daughter isn't on there, but he's on there.
So like his daughter, I was surprised his daughter didn't get dusted. So
yeah,
and it's been yeah.
And so his daughter makes it so he has to go run and find her, and he's has to find her. He doesn't realize it's been 5 years, so when he sees her, she's so much older.
How much old? Like how old was she in Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I don't know.
Because like it looked like from like because I saw a couple clips.
She looked a lot older.
Yeah, like I
than,
thought
like a 5 years.
Like
yeah,
she looked like she looked like a kid in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but like maybe you could say like she was 8.
Yeah.
So if you count 5 years, she'd be like 14.
Yeah, like 13 or 14. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I kind of put it at. But yeah, their reunion scene was very, very touching. Another one of those emotional moments that really stuck out in the first kind of portion of the film for me. So Ant-Man has to go find the rest of the Avengers.
Because he has an idea.
Because he has an idea also, which is another card on my bingo sheet. So, which is Ant-Man has a wacky idea on how to beat Thanos. So it counts.
Okay. There's like some stuff that like I think like you didn't cross off that because it wasn't in the movie, and I'm like want to know like what like how you felt because it wasn't in there, and then some stuff I'm like maybe you could have crossed it off.
Some stuff was like kind of a maybe, like if you like stretch it.
I know one that's a maybe.
Okay,
but we'll get to that, and then if you were upset that like the Hulk wasn't that much in Infinity War, you're gonna be happy because he's in the entire movie.
But it's a very different version
Professor
of
Hulk.
It's Professor Hulk, which is a different kind of variation. It's kind of the best of both folks.
Apparently, Bruce and the Hulk learned how to get along.
Yes,
and now they're doing like a thing, which is like interesting because like the Hulk. So the Hulk doesn't die. But that's interesting that like they keep him in the Hulk thing because like if they want to make a Hulk movie, Mark Ruffalo technically doesn't need to do like the bodysuit because they have the animation. They can just get a person there and he can just do the voice if he wants to.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Although they do have his like facial features, so they
No,
probably
I know. Like I mean, they might have to do like the facial thing, but that's just like sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
So like I'm saying if he doesn't want to,
right?
You know.
Yeah, which is kind of an interesting kind of option they give there. But that's I mean, that really seems more like the end of Banner's character arc there is that, you know, struggling with the Hulk, the back and forth, the total destruction or total control, and then being able to kind of integrate the two. And so he's Professor Hulk, which is, he's a chill dude now.
Good for him.
Chill. Yeah, cool. Which is it's just an interesting take because I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, and then they like figure out the time travel idea with I don't get the quantum phase world, whatever.
The quantum realm, yeah.
So it's like so like if you can like go to different points in like places, you can do that with time, I think.
Sure, space and time.
Okay, whatever.
Science. I don't understand.
And
how
then they have to go find Thor, who's in New Asgard, which is in Norway.
Yes.
And then we get the important facts, which is A, Valkyrie's alive.
Valkyrie.
And also, Korg's alive.
Yes. I was so excited.
I'm like, yay!
I was kind of annoyed because I thought that I wrote this on my bingo card, but I didn't put. One of the things I was considering putting down was Korg shows up.
And he's playing Fortnite, and it's just...
It's hilarious.
And, like, Thor's just, like, a mess of a god.
He is a mess of a human.
He's got, like,
god.
He's got the long beard and the hair and a pot belly.
Yeah, it's...
I think that's fake. It looked like it looked a bit like fake.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at least some of that was fake.
Which is funny because, like, I mean, what guy doesn't want to just, like, put on a couple pounds for something? I guess because he still had to fight, technically.
Yeah, this actually brings up one of the points that, like, probably one of the negative points of the movie for me, in the sense that, not Thor as a whole character, but, like, I mean, Thor's obviously really kind of going through it because he feels like so much of a failure for everything that's gone on because, you know, he was so close but didn't get there. So he's really going through this emotional thing, but then, you know, they kind of make a joke out of him, like, the whole time. Like, they just kind of boil Thor down to a fat joke for a lot of the movie. and I wasn't like a huge fan of that because, like, okay, he let himself go, but at least in the theater that I was in, like, anytime he showed up after that and you could see his, like, belly, like, everybody laughed, and, like, didn't matter if the scene was funny or not, like, everybody just laughed.
That matters because that didn't happen in my theater. Like, everybody was kind of like watching.
So I just went to a theater with a bunch of dicks.
Probably.
Okay.
I didn't get that because I'm just like, oh, like I just felt like I didn't like. Oh no, I think like the first shot when you see his pot belly, you're just kind of like, but then I'm just like, you felt kind of bad for him because of everything he went through, and then like he kind of like I don't know, felt like a good like character arc for him, and then when they actually made Thor: The Dark World, I guess a bit relevant for a bit.
Yeah, they actually brought that back around.
That was a good scene.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good scene. Like, I'm not mad about Thor's stuff. I liked Thor's stuff, but it felt like at some points they were just kind of laying too heavy on the fat jokes, or at least the perception of the theater that I was in was like, haha, he's fat, it's funny.
Yeah,
which was like,
I think
okay, that was a little
you just
tired.
went with a bunch of dicks.
Okay,
I didn't
good
have
to
that.
know. Yeah, if you guys had that experience, let me know so I know I wasn't alone. Or if you guys didn't feel that way at all, I would really love to hear about that. So please comment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yes, Thor, they're able to recruit him basically by saying they have beer, because he's a bit of a drunkard now.
No, I felt really bad for the guy. I'm just like, look, he keeps, and I think that's the point of his character. Like, he keeps trying to like be this leader, and then he just kind of keeps failing.
Right.
At being said leader, and you just feel bad for the guy.
Because, you know, leading is the thing that he's supposed to do, because he is Thor, son of Odin, you know, heir to the throne, all that kind of stuff.
And then they have to find Hawkeye, who's just like in a great place.
He's doing swell. Losing your whole family doesn't do much.
So he's killing bad guys, right?
Yeah, he's basically kind of taking up the vigilante life and just kind of this chaotic force of just killing a bunch of bad guys, you know, kind of under the guise of, I'm trying to remember how he words it, but, you know, like basically half the world disappeared and somehow you're here and still doing bad stuff, like F you, Wuchang, which I believe is he turns into Ronin, which is a character, okay. I believe. I don't know too much about that, but that's like an actual kind of character of his in the comics.
Like Black Widow finds him, like they have like a nice arc throughout the movie.
I really like that. I really like their arc throughout the movie because it's not just because it kind of pulls together. It also kind of pulls from everything we've seen from them from the previous films. Yeah. So I've always liked their dynamic all throughout the cinematic universe. I mean, through the first Avengers, we thought that it was going to be like, are they like going to be a thing? And then we realized it wasn't going to be a thing when we found out Hawkeye had a family. But I've always liked their relationship and their dynamic.
Yeah, like I kind of remember like getting not like upset, but there was like this like. There was a couple of YouTube comments about something that happens, which we'll get to in a bit. Yeah. About, like, just, like, some stuff. And I'm just like, no, that's stupid. Why? Like, the way that, like, they did it was actually good. Anyway, back to the point. We gather the Avengers, and they have the time travel idea.
Right.
And they test it out with Hawkeye, and it works. Hooray.
Right. Well, first they couldn't figure out the formula, but then Tony steps back in action because he's the one who figured it out.
And
so he's back in it.
That scene was so cute with his kid because her Morgan? Is that her name?
Morgan. Yes.
What?
Yeah, Morgan.
Yeah. I think it's he called her a nickname or something, so I got confused.
Yeah. But he started off with a nickname, but yeah, in the movie, it's Morgan.
Yeah, but I think because he says shit, I did it, and then she says shit, and he's like, no. And then something about getting pops, and it's just yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just and then good. The first I Love You 3000.
Aw, so cute.
That was another reason why I wasn't sure if they're gonna kill Tony, because he had a kid now. That's just
What's up with that?
That poor baby.
What's up with that? That poor baby. But she's so cute.
How old was she? No, she wasn't she must have been at least 4.5, maybe 4.
She's probably 4.
Because Pepper wasn't pregnant before that,
right?
So you have to count, having a baby time,
right?
And apparently they got married in between. So
sure. Well, they were engaged.
Yeah.
So
all right, whatever.
Yeah. So just. Whoop. So Tony returns. They're back
with
in business.
The shield.
Yes, with the shield. He has Cap's shield, which is very exciting. So, but yeah. So then that means we suddenly turn into a time travel movie,
time travel heist movie.
We suddenly go from this depressive
grieving,
traumatic, post-apocalyptic kind of setting, and then it's a time travel movie. So that's what I mean, kind of by we're moving into these different movies.
I really like the first act because it was just kind of a character piece.
It was it was far more somber. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which I like because after the big action fight that was Infinity War, which is funny because when you look at part 1 and part 2, it's usually the second part's the big fight scene, and then the first part's a bit dramatic, and this kind of reversed it in a way.
Right? Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so I like the first act because it is very it is very it's far more character driven, which is good because you don't really get a lot of heavy character stuff, especially in these movies that are just a big mashup. So you have a bajillion characters. It's hard to focus on character stuff.
Yeah, and then then the second half, which is your time travel heist movie, which probably one of my favorite bits is when they were trying to figure out where all the stones were. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Black Widow's just guys, there were 3 stones in New York in 2012.
At the same time. Yes.
What the heck?
It's
so they're that just made
our lives a bad idea.
That just made our lives so much easier. So they have who's on? So it's Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Hulk, Nebula, Rocket,
Rhodey.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yes.
So they're dividing up into 2. They're teams of 4. Mm-hmm. And Hulk. Oh, Ant-Man too.
Right.
I didn't say Ant-Man. That's one.
And Ant-Man.
And that one guy.
That dude. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the idea is there's 3 in New York in 2012, and then there's the other 3. There's 1 on Asgard in 2013.
Yes, there's during the Dark World.
See that? But
it was in Natalie Portman. Yes.
And then there was 2 on other planets in 2014.
Right.
So the plan is Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, and Ant-Man are going to go to New York. Mm-hmm. And then they'll divide up from there, and then everybody else is going to Rocket and Thor are going to Asgard.
Right.
And then Black Widow, Hawkeye, Nebula, and Rhodey
going to space.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then that's the second act is your time heist movie.
Right, which is interesting because I don't know because going into it, you actually said something earlier. You said, before we even watched this movie, it's people are speculating that there's going to be time stuff involved with utilizing the quantum realm, and I was and I wasn't even thinking about that before walking into this movie. And I usually don't like the idea of time travel to correct past mistakes. There's good time travel movies. I love Back to the Future and everything. But time travel stuff, sometimes it feels a little too easy. Superman spin around the world to bring Lois Lane back. You know what I mean? So I wasn't sure how to feel about that, in theory, but in practice, it turned out to be a lot of fun. And I think with this movie is I'm not sure whether to talk about this now or later, so maybe I'll just push it off till later. Is for overall thoughts about like how time travel kind of played into the overall
I think I've like
feel.
technically broken that apart in my head. Like depending on like how they're like doing it, maybe it kind of works, maybe it doesn't. But like genuinely, I don't care because like honestly, like this part was probably like my least favorite, and not because it was bad at all. It was not bad. Like I probably give like this act like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, you just like the others better.
Yeah. But
totally.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this one's actually a bit more quippy.
Yeah, this is, like, the fun part. Like, this is where
Hulk
we get into, like, the...
smash.
Yeah, this is where we get, like, the Ant-Man style, like, heist and, like, the fun times, kind of, like, the quirkiness of everything.
We go back to the Avengers, the first one, and we get that actual, like, shot from the Avengers.
Yes, they like, reuse footage, and how they do it is really fun.
Yeah. And then Hulk splits up to go get the Time Stone. And then... So the staff had the Mind Stone, and then the Tesseract had the Space Stone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of confusing.
I get the two stones that were in the first Avengers confused, because they were both there at the same time, so...
But the point of the matter is that was a fun movie. Anyway, I think something else we need to bring up. There were, like, so many side characters. They just, like, come back.
The cameos in this movie, the cameos were insane. There was people coming back that I didn't think so. I think this was one on my bingo card. Let's see.
I'm just like,
my bingo card was unexpected cameo from a character we haven't seen in a long time.
So the first one was, like, the Ancient One, and I'm like,
Yeah, I'm like, is that Tilda Swinton? Okay. Hey, girl.
Yo. And, like, apparently, like, she was just, like, kind of helping out, like, with magic stuff during the fight scene.
Yeah.
Because, like, they were originally looking for Doctor Strange, and then she's like, no, that's, like, 5 years from now.
Yeah, so she's, like, she knows. She's very aware of the whole time stream. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she, like, does the actual production thing with Hulk.
Yeah, it was the...
But...
Yeah. That was cool.
And then everybody else is just, like, trying to get the other two stones. And they, like, they're, like, in that scene where, they trap Loki.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, let's get everything. And then you get, like, basically everybody, all of the Hydra people from Winter Soldier.
Oh, my God. I was so surprised. I was like, that's that guy. That's that guy. That's all the folks.
I'm just surprised. No, my surprise, I forget his... I was surprised by, I forget his name, but Robert Redford's character.
Yes! Robert Redford showed up, and I was like, what is he doing here? Oh, my God. Seriously.
And there was also some good quips, and, like, we learned that that's America's ass.
Oh my God! All the jokes about Captain America's butt.
Well, Tony Stark's like that. Those pants did not do like wonders for your ass. Which disagree. Just do. and then Ant-Man still being a fanboy.
It's like, hey, that's America's ass. And I'm proud to be an American. All right. So,
and then they get on the. Well, it's funny because like Cap gets on the elevator with the guys, and we're just like, are they going to do another elevator scene?
I thought he was going to say the same exact line that he did in the first elevator scene in Winter Soldier. I was like waiting for it. I was like, is he going to fight Peace people here? But it ended up going so much better.
But then they did like, I think was it like the reference like the comic thing where like he was like part of Hydra?
Yeah, it was. I felt like that was like a very like meta reference to that comic that was vastly unpopular, where Captain America was like some kind of Hydra agent.
And like he says it, and then
he leans in and like because he's trying to convince them to give him the briefcase with that, and they don't want to give it to him, but he convinces him that he's on their side by saying "Hail Hydra," and that was so smart. It was so good, and I love these kinds of like consistent references, like pulling everything together from all these movies. I think that's what I like about this part so much, because there's so much we're pulling together. Yeah.
Just to finish up with Captain America, we get my favorite thing: Captain America versus Captain America.
Oh yes, yeah.
Who thought he was Loki, so I guess it works. And I think, but it was still fun.
Where he's like, I could do this all day. Yeah, we know.
But then, like, his trick is, like, saying Bucky's life. He's like, what? And then just punch.
Yeah, that was really good. Like, Captain America knows how to defeat himself, which is really interesting.
Just distraction away.
Yeah.
But, and then Scott and Tony are trying to get the Tesseract. So the idea is to shrink down Ant-Man and go into Tony's arc reactor. Yeah. And then, like, hit something so that he has a cardiac arrest thing. Yeah. Which doesn't go correctly at points. And then Loki gets the Tesseract back and disappears, which I think is setting up the new show that he's going to have.
Oh.
Because technically he's still dead.
Yeah. Okay.
So
but this is just like this alternate kind of...
I'm fine with, like, if you're going to do it...
That's okay. That's really interesting. Okay. Yeah, you got me. I'm into it. Oh, wait, that reminds me. That
Loki?
checked off that my one of my bingo things was Loki. Just Loki.
Did Tom Hiddleston even have like an actual line? Like maybe?
I'm sure. He spoke a little bit in that movie. Like a little
That's fine. And then so that didn't go well. So then Tony and Steve go back to like the 70s, which was fun.
Yeah, because the thing is they mess it up so bad that they have to figure out like we don't have many other chances left. We only had this one opportunity, so how do we fix it? So they have to find a place where they have both the stone and the like some more like Pym particles because they're in short supply because Hank Pym is currently dusted. So they decide to go back to the 70s, like at the SHIELD compound, because they have both the stone, which has been in possession of SHIELD for a very long time, and also Hank Pym is currently working there. That's before he kind of splits off and does his own thing. So like that was really smart.
And Tony has like a nice like character arc thing with his dad.
Yeah, he gets to talk to his dad, which kind of offers some closure.
Which, like, was that the actor who played him in the older version, like, de-aged?
Yeah, that was the actor, I think, who played him in, like, Iron Man 2.
Yeah, like the older one?
Yeah,
the older version? I forget his name. I know he's on Mad Men, but I forget his name.
Yeah, I forget the actor, but yeah.
But I wasn't sure if that was... But, like, for some reason, it kind of looked like Ryan Gosling. Like, a little bit. Like, a little bit.
Okay, I didn't really see
that. And it's, like, around the time that, like, Tony's about to be born.
Right, yeah.
And then Steve just kind of doing his own thing, and then he sees Peggy, and you're just like...
And then he's just like, yeah, because he wants to say something to her, but he can't, and you're just like, because he loves her.
I hope maybe someday they can get together.
Maybe. We'll see. So yes, so they're able to get the stone and the Pym particles, and everything works out great for them. And then, so who else are they going? So we got the time stone because
the Hulk kind of convinced, like, basically that's how we kind of get the explanation of the time thing, where like if you take out this stone, it's going to be an alternate reality.
Yeah,
and it's going to like fuck up this reality.
So you got to make sure that you put them back once you take them.
They're saying that, basically. But it's like, I don't know if you can do that. And then Hulk's like, well, then why did Strange give it up? And then she's like, she did. And he's like, yes. And it's like, okay, well, then he probably knew something. Here you go.
Yeah, because he's basically the chosen one. So like what he says goes.
He's be the Sorcerer Supreme?
Something like that.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a good time. So we got 2 stones down. No, we got 3 stones down.
3.
Because we got the scepter, too.
And then, okay, so let's go to Asgard, because that's kind of like a...
Okay, because that's really quick. Yeah,
that's like kind of like quippy and funny, but like a kind of... There's like a nice
there's
scene,
heartfelt stuff in there, too.
Yeah, so that's Rocket and
Thor.
And they needed... Because So, was the stone in Jane, Natalie Portman?
Yes.
Okay, so they have to
remember she like... Oh, you didn't see that movie?
No!
I keep forgetting you haven't seen that movie. Yeah, so which basically...
You keep saying like that movie doesn't matter, which it kind of does.
I know, now it actually matters. I'm like, shit. So there's some weird happenstance. She basically sticks her hand in a rock. Thor goes over this really quickly, drunkenly, when they're doing their whole like debrief of all the stone stuff. Sticks her hand in a rock, and the stone is actually more of this kind of like liquidy matter stuff. So it actually gets into her, and it makes her, like super sick and stuff. So they have to figure out a way to get it out, and that's like the whole plot of the movie, and it's a whole thing or whatever. So yeah, currently he takes her back to Asgard, so she can get examined and everything. So that's kind of where they come in. There is that for like most of all of history, the Reality Stone had been in like where all the elves are, but then for just like half of a day, it was in Asgard, which is a way more safer location. So that's why they go there. So yes, they have to do that. So
then. Did they get Natalie Portman back for like a little bit, or was that scene in the movie?
From what I remember, that scene was already in the movie, so I don't think she was in this at all.
Okay, because like I know Natalie Portman was like kind of like not good, like cool and like doing these anymore. So I'm like, did they just get her back for a little bit or not? I don't know. So then, but Thor's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Because first he sees his mother, and you're just like, because she died in that movie.
Yeah, she dies in that movie.
and then Rocket's like, all right, let me go figure this out. Mm-hmm. And then Thor, like, sees his mother, and his mother, who was, like, I don't know their full story, but, like, raised by witches, so, like, she kind of realizes...
She's a very magical type of being.
So, like, so she realized this isn't, like, the Thor currently, but, like, a future Thor, and then they have a nice, like, talk. And it was good.
About like destiny and, you know, like he feels he has to be something, but she's like, hey, whatever. And, you know, she's like, failure just means that you're a person. Like that's, you know, that's what happens. And you just gotta, like, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do well. And she's aware that, you know, she's going to die. But,
and it's like accepts it.
She accepts it. She doesn't want him to try to fix anything or change anything because she knows that that's not, that they can't do that. So
and that was like,
it's very nice. It's very heartfelt.
There was also kind of a fat joke there, but it was said by a mom, so I'm kind of like, I think it's fine.
It was fine. It was just like it was a very good heartfelt scene,
so
especially
they get that.
from the character that we don't really see a lot. We never really saw a lot of, besides the Dark World, where she had a kind of a bigger role, but then she died. So that was
and then
nice.
Okay, Rhodey and Nebula.
Rhodey and Nebula.
So they have to go to. They trying to get it from the first Guardians movie when they were getting the Power Stone.
Yeah, they are in the introduction of the very first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Which, like, okay, so I'm going to bring this up with your bingo card. I don't know if we're going to... Can we spoil, like, everybody comes back, technically?
Everybody comes back.
All right.
They're making another Spider-Man. Everybody comes back.
So, can we spoil? Because I think you said, like, Peter Quill atones for his sins is one of your things.
Yes.
I would say that he technically did, because basically throughout this movie, he's a punching bag.
True. Yeah, literally, like, they punch him in this movie.
So, like, I know, like, that Peter didn't know what he did, so, like, it's not his fault.
Right.
But, like, he got punched, that's out, and then they get his key, they get in, and then we find out this weird thing, because, like, you're kind of wondering, like, if Thanos is going to come back, and it turns out, because, like, Nebula's, like, eye thing is, like, connected with the other Nebula.
Right, because it kind of creates this weird division in where each kind of nebula is accessible at the same, if they exist in the same period of time, you can access one or the other.
So then we see Thanos and Gamora. So, I mean, Gamora's
that's how they get Gamora back, which is so interesting because we wonder, because you can't get anybody back who was sacrificed to the Soul Stone.
Well, it's funny because like they don't, they don't even try, like they're not even trying because Vision doesn't come back either.
Yeah.
He'll be back
eventually. Well,
they're doing a Scarlet Witch and Vision show.
It's true. How are they going to do that?
I don't know.
Question for another time.
So there's that problem, and then but because of that, like Rhodey can go back, and then Nebula can't, and then Thanos got to figure out what they're doing, and it's like, well, I got to stop them.
You know, wait, can I just mention what I really like is the I love the opening to the first Guardians. I think it's just a really fun opening. It sets the tone really great for the rest of the thing. But because it's basically like Quill's listening to his Walkman or whatever. And he's dancing along, but we actually get the part where the music isn't filled in, and you just see him
like, hey.
just dancing, and he's singing, and it's so good. I love comedic stuff like that. So I just wanted to appreciate that moment really quickly before they knock him the fuck out. But
so there's that, and then but then at this point Thanos knows that like their plan, and like he's kind of mad at Nebula because it's like it looks like she's betrays him, even though it's like, but I didn't do that. That was like a future me. I would never betray you. Also, Gamora's gonna betray you anyway. Because that was all that thing.
Yeah, but Gamora's the favorite daughter, so.
Well, then, okay, and then Thanos, like, prove yourself, and then there's, like, a whole thing which we'll get back to in a bit. Mm-hmm. But we probably need to talk about Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Ooh.
Do you have feelings?
Feelings?
Like, sad feelings or, like, weird feelings?
Yes. A little bit of both.
Okay.
So Hawkeye and Black Widow. Actually, it's kind of good that those two won, because if anyone else went, they didn't have that kind of bond that they had where they would have actually been able to get the Soul Stone.
That kind of like, because like I was reading internet stuff and I'm like, that actually does make the most sense, because like the only other people probably might have that bond are like Tony and Cap, but like you can't kill them at this point.
Right, it wouldn't have had that same effect. The only people like on the team who are like have each other because they have like weird histories, and they were always there for each other. That makes sense. Even though, so they go to Vormir. They're confronted by. Do they not know who Red Skull was? They didn't seem fazed by. They're like, that's Red Skull. He was a Nazi.
The only person who know who Red Skull is Captain America and Bucky.
Yeah, but they were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. You think they would understand the S.H.I.E.L.D. history?
Yeah, but that's probably something you just like maybe like read real quickly, and then like also they have other shit going on. You might just like that might. I feel like that's something that might slip your mind.
No, nobody who ever like sees Red Skull goes like, "Holy shit, that's Red Skull." What is he doing here?
Even the bit where like later on where like Hawkeye's like describing it, because I think I just spoiled that. But anyway,
Yeah. But yeah.
We're like he's like describing it like there's no reaction on Steve's face.
Right. Yeah, he's not just like, yeah, so there's this guy. Red Skull. So that was just funny. But yeah, they go to Vormir, and then they're confronted with the reality that is the Soul Stone, which is you have to sacrifice, that which you most love. And of course, it's these two who both love each other very much. So much.
And it's kind of just like this, like, they're like, obviously they're thinking who's gonna, like, that each other's gonna die, so they're just they're like fighting for it.
Yeah, neither like hesitates. They're both like, even though Hawkeye has a family and everything, he wouldn't hesitate twice to sacrifice everything for Nat.
To save Nat, and then Nat's like, well, no, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and Nat's like,
and then it's like a fight to see who's gonna do it until like the end.
It's like a fight to see which one can kill themselves first, which is so sad. And
that was actually really good, like emotional gut punch.
Yeah,
and then it's finally like Nat just kind of like ties like Hawkeye to like the mountain through like a string thing, and then he grabs her hand, and they're still fighting.
Yeah,
like in a way, and then she just kind of like, it's okay, like
she's like, you can let go. And it's
I can do this, and then they do, and then Black Widow's dead.
Oh,
you want to talk about it?
Yeah,
I would like to say first of all, because everybody else was okay. I would like to say first of all, called it.
You did. I give you full credit for that.
Everybody else, because everybody else like, what? Like that? Like, why would you do that? It's so crazy. And I'm like, I called that.
Yeah, you did call it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. But like, I don't like. I really like the way they did it.
Yeah.
Because I was reading somewhere, somebody said it was like another, because like some people were saying like, it was honestly like one video, and they were saying like how like with Gamora that was like a traps in the refrigerator. Or
it was like it was a fridging kind of situation.
Which I'm like, okay, so like I think I know the definition of this, but like because you're more like into this, so you can correct me. I thought it was like a character who was really only there as like a plot device, or like it's only likable because another character likes them. He gets killed in a brutal way just to get a reaction out of a character. Isn't that what it is?
I don't think... I'm trying to think as a TV tropes connoisseur. I'm trying to think... The definition is a character is killed, to get a reaction from another character, or, to inspire, or for the sake of another character. But I don't think it's ever... It's specifically a character who's like a satellite character, a character that doesn't mean much. I don't think that part is
so like okay. So the character can technically like be a character, like and has like an arc.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was just like some like a character like who didn't. It was only there for like plot convenience.
Typically, that's who it ends up being, but I think it could apply to any.
Because like I remember like these people like were saying that with Gamora, and I'm like, I don't think that was the case. Mm-hmm. Like I think you could argue it a little bit, but like she didn't die to get a reaction out of either Quill or Thanos. It was so that somebody could get the stone. And this is similar, but it was also, like, a choice.
Yeah, I still think, like, to me, like, it was, like, a little, like, the both characters who had to be sacrificed for the Soul Stone were, like, the women characters doing it for the men, but, like, not doing it specifically for the men in Gamora's case, but, like, in both situations, it was kind of this, like,
she wasn't doing it for, like, to save, like, she wasn't probably doing it to save Clint. She was probably doing it because...
Well, she knew one of them like everybody, but it was still like it was like still both times like being the women characters was still like.
But I knew, but like calling that, I thought it was honestly going to be like they were in a fight and then she was going to like get killed at one point. Like I kind of like this better that like she and like you could see like this like her arc of like she just wants to get everything back to normal and is like trying to be a leader, but is incredibly depressed about this. And like throughout, her arc has always tried to do the right thing. When like she left the KGB to join SHIELD and then realized that was wrong.
Right, she has such a checkered past that she's always trying to make right for. Yeah.
And like so that's why I'm like I'm okay with it. And again, it was like her choice to like do that.
Like it makes I think because like it can still kind of strike me as like a little like a little kind of like icky at points, but like so here's my thinking on it. It totally makes complete sense within the context of the story, with how everything was set up and how it was written. But reality is, it didn't have to be written that way. Do you know what I mean? I'm
kind of thinking who else it could be though.
Yeah. Like
again, it could have been it could have been Hawkeye. Mm-hmm. That's a thing, but like. And like I think if it went either way, I wouldn't have been surprised. But then you're kind of like, well, but the idea is like, okay, well, he has a family that like will need him after this. Matt doesn't really have anybody, and like
which they kind of mentioned later, like she didn't have anybody besides the Avengers.
Like, they're a family, and, like, it kind of, and, like, there was, like, an emotional gut punch to it when, like, Clint came back and it's just, like, in disarray, and then everybody's upset about it.
Right.
For a bit, and it wasn't, like, to get a reaction out of them. It was kind of like, all right, we need to do this for her as well. Like, we need to get everybody back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's not 100% in the clear for me, but, like, I can live with it. Do you know what I mean?
I guess, like, when it comes to, like, that kind of stuff, it doesn't feel like they're trying to do it out of, like, if, like, they're doing it, they either, like, don't mean to do it, or, like, they realize that it honestly fits well with it. This is the best way to do the storyline, so they're kind of...
Well, things like that, it's rarely ever somebody, like, trying to do it. It's more just, like, a trope, you know, or, like, something that, like, has happened before, and people just kind of, like, fall into these ruts of kind of things when they don't realize sometimes maybe it's not as okay as they think it is. But we don't have to kind of spend much more time on that. It's
no,
just
we don't. I just think it's, like, that's, like, fridging is a phrase that's kind of, like, thrown around so much for me. Like, whenever I... like, hear it, it's just thrown around so much where I'm kind of like, okay, I think I actually need to break this down, saying, is this or isn't it? And for me, I think... I think you could argue with Gamora, and you could argue with this, but I think it's, like, not a strong argument.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I also read somewhere in the comments saying, like, well, it wasn't, like, that impactful. Why come she didn't go with Bruce? Like, that would have been more impactful because they had a romantic thing. And I'm like, yeah.
No.
See, it was better. See, like, no matter, that would have been much worse if it was Bruce. It was nicer that it was, like, her best friend. I would have actually been, like, angry about it if it was with Bruce. Well, they didn't. That wasn't brought up. You didn't get the smooching a lot in your bingo card.
I know. There's a lot of smooching on my bingo card, and there wasn't that much smooching at all, which was great. I was actually happy about that. But, like, yeah, so it was... Yeah, any two character combinations, I think you put them at the top. I think Clint and Natasha were the two big... characters where that was very impactful.
And I do kind of like the fact that, like, they were both trying to, like, each one of them was willing to do it, and it was just kind of like whoever got there first.
And it was really refreshing to have two characters who love and feel so strongly about each other not be romantically involved. And I think that actually, you know, as much as it, you know, some things in Age of Ultron were, like, kind of weird, it's still, like, how it ended up for them, it was still very strong as far as, like, you know, how much they really do genuinely care about each other, and that's where the impact came from. It was actually super impactful for it not to be kind of a romantic
and I think
thing.
Also some people are just kind of like, well, what are they going to do about the Black Widow movie now? And I'm like, that's going to be a prequel. It's
going to be a prequel. Like, I thought that was obvious.
And they were, like, saying, like, what are they going to do? Like, Scarlett Johansson? I'm like, one, you don't have to do it that much, and two, probably.
She doesn't look, like, old. Like, just put the little iconic makeup.
I think, like, with the KGB stuff, she might be, like, in her, like, her late teens, but, like, so you might have to do a little bit, but, like... Everybody calm down.
You might just do, like, some mild, like, voice modulation or something.
I guess because, like, I didn't think of it as a frigid moment because I was expecting something, like, with that.
Right.
So.
Yeah. But yeah.
And I thought, like, it was a nice, like, self-sacrifice, which I didn't think she was going to get the self-sacrifice death. I thought she was going to get a we're in a battle random death thing.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So I'm happy. You know what I mean?
But yeah, you just reminded me, though, with, like, the Bruce and Natasha stuff, like, I was talking to a friend about this. I was so glad that they never really, like, pursued it past Age of Ultron. Like, it was still, like, obvious that they did have, like, feelings towards each other, not necessarily even romantic feelings, just, like, they did, you know, they did care about each other. And it was that, you know, came into play. Some of it was kind of used like in a comedic way in Ragnarok with, like, the sun's getting real low kind of jokes, which are really funny. But then there was some, like, scenes where, like, you can tell, like, they, you know, even though they had a history, they do care about each other and stuff. Because it is mentioned, you know, Professor Hulk says, you know, he misses her a lot and stuff, though, which is good that they never, I felt like, tried to push the romance past Age of Ultron, but they still kind of acknowledged it in a way where it didn't kind of drop off. So I felt like they handled that very well.
Several, like, romantic things they kind of just, like, semi-drop, which I'm fine with. Because, like, whatever.
Yeah, but, I think they handled it the right way there.
So, everybody gets back except for Nat, and they're all kind of, like, traumatized. Because I think they honestly assumed they weren't going to lose anybody, and then they did. So that was kind of, like, a big traumatic thing for them. And then, but not everybody comes back, because past Nebula comes back.
Right. So, yeah, the way they do it is that they kind of infiltrate. Because now Thanos knows that eventually he gets the stones, and now he knows that they're collecting the stones, so they're all just going to be in one place now. So they're able to they capture the future Nebula, and, you know, they able to switch places with past Nebula, who's very eager to impress her father. So yeah, and it's And it's tricky because I was like, oh, well, they should be able to notice because she's going to come back like later than Rhodey, but they don't because the way the quantum realm works, they all come back at the same time. So there's no way for them to actually be able to tell that there is a discrepancy there, which I thought was super interesting.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how that was set up.
And then they put the gemstones on an Iron Man gauntlet?
Yeah, like basically like Stark Tech. Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, and then they try to figure out who's the best person to do it without them killing it, and it's going to be the Hulk.
Yeah, and, you know, he makes the really interesting line there that says that, like, well, the thing's basically gamma radiation anyway, so it's basically like I was made to do it, which is interesting. And Hulk is such an incredibly powerful character that in this movie we don't necessarily see a lot of the physical aspects because he's kind of doing, you know, a lot of the sciencey stuff. But, yeah, so this is a very interesting... And because it is a very difficult thing to wield all that power. It has killed so many people in the past. So, yeah.
Yeah, so then he wields it, he snaps, he gets like half his body burned, but he's okay.
Yeah.
And then this was basically revealed because like that everybody comes back because like it looks a bit brighter, and then Clint gets a call from his wife.
Yeah, Clint gets a call.
Which is funny because like you're so aware of that, but then I kind of forgot by like the third act when like, but we'll get there.
Right, yeah, we'll get there.
And then you're like, okay, we did it. And then kapoon.
And then, yeah, because Nebula actually opens the portals. So, like, a lot of stuff can come through. Not just a couple people, but, like an entire army, basically.
Yeah, and then, well, also, like, and then we forgot to mention this, but, like, Nebula trying to convince Paz Gamora that, like, we're, like, eventually gonna be friends and, like, actually act like sisters.
Yeah, and, like, you don't want this to happen.
Me.
Yeah.
And, like, that kind of thing, and trying to, so then they can stop Nebula from like, doing this stuff, but then the army comes in, and, like, how did nobody die in that explosion?
Yeah, great question. I for sure thought somebody was going to beef it. Like, I was like, how did nobody die in that? Was there a shield? No. I forget, but,
I think there was, like, tech, like, Iron Man tech.
Yeah, but... Like, yeah, it was interesting. But,
like,
yeah, somebody
like,
probably
Scott
should have died
like,
in that explosion.
Like, Scott was, like, really close to that. And I'm like, oh, no, he's dead. And then like, nobody was. Like, he just kind of shrunk.
Yeah. Yeah, at first, I was like, holy shit, they just killed Ant-Man. But he was able to shrink in time. But that was, like, wild.
So everybody lives. And then
barely.
Like, Rhodey and Rocket were, like, trapped.
Yeah, they're, like, drowning, basically. Because
So then they try to get out, which they do. And then Hawkeye's got the gauntlet. So he's kind of, like...
So, yeah, he's trying to escape all the weird alien stuff that's chasing him because he's like, what do? So, basically, the whole third act is just a big old keep-away game. It's just the most epic version of keep-away you've ever seen in your life.
But then there's, like, this bit where, like, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America go and, like, confront Thanos.
Yeah, and, like, Thanos can hold his own even without the Infinity Gauntlet, which makes him a really formidable antagonist.
So then, and then there's, like, the fight scenes, and then, because I think we forgot to mention this, but, because this is important. So Thor gets Mjolnir back.
Yes, because while he's in the past, he's able to retrieve an old version of Mjolnir and take him back. Yeah.
And then there's like a fight scene, so he's fighting with both until.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Thanos is beating up on Thor a little bit, and then we see Mjolnir come flying, and then comes back into the hands
of Captain America.
He's worthy. The whole theater lost their collective minds at this part. Like, all of us, like, in there, like, oh my god.
See, my theater's, like, kind of, like, quiet, but, like, I saw a lot of people go, like, oh.
But no, like, we were all, like, clapping. We're like, oh my god, I cannot believe it. And I was losing my mind. Well, it's so funny, because as soon as I saw the hammer fly, and it looked like it wasn't, like, because it didn't look like Thor didn't have his hand out, I was like, oh my god. Cap has the hammer. And it comes back and it's in his hand. I was like, yes. Oh, he's worthy.
And then Thor's like, I knew it.
Yes.
And then he fights with Mjolnir. And then his shield also gets kind of bashed, like in that scene from Ultron.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then there's like this whole thing and they're still fighting. And then we hear Sam and he says, on your left. And then just like, everybody. It's like, I think like somebody said like, man, that scene in Infinity War, that fight scene was like so epic and like everybody's there. And then like the producers and directors just like, hold my beer. Because this is like
you
thought Infinity War was everybody. This is everybody.
This scene was basically the real Infinity Gauntlet was the friends we made along the way. Because
it's like, because like apparently like Doctor Strange like does like the whole thing with everybody. So it's like Wakanda and the magic people. And
all the magicians and
the magicians and then everybody else.
Yeah, like basically all the friends get called. Like they all, like everybody gets a call. Like well, it's funny because when everyone comes back and like as this fight scene with Thanos is happening, like we don't really see him, but like there's a period of time does go by between like everyone coming back and them actually getting there.
Well, listen, like if you just like got dusted away and then you get back, I think you need like 20 minutes.
So basically, Doctor Strange came back and made some calls and was like, "Hey guys, we got a giant ass fight scene going on. I'm gonna need everybody to get over here, and we're gonna go f this guy up. Thank you. I'll sending a portal over right now. Thank you. Bye." And like, bam, opens the portal, and everyone just.
I kind of like the scene where like, he's talking to Wong, and he's like, "Is that everybody?" And then he's like, "Did you need more people?" I mean, that couldn't have just been a bunch. There must have been like there were definitely CGI characters.
Mm-hmm. Probably, I'd imagine, but
and
yeah, that must have been like insane to try to like put together digitally. Oh,
and then there's like the favorite bits where it's like Spider-Man and Iron Man reunite.
Yeah, well, first we get the check off my bingo sheet for Infinity War that I should have put on this one, which is Cap saying Avengers Assemble. Like he said the line. He finally said the line. I had that on my last bingo card.
There was like so much fan service in this movie.
Yes, this movie was for the fans. Like that's what this movie comes down to. But yeah, so because then you get this fully okay. Oh, hey, we didn't talk about this. One of those characters that comes to help fight is Pepper Potts in an Iron Man suit.
Yes!
Like what?
And also
like, she flies by and I was like, is that Pepper?
Also Valkyrie on a Pegasus.
Oh, Valkyrie, I love her.
And also because we didn't mention this, but like it was established that Shuri got dusted as well.
Yes, in the promotional material.
Where was Nikita? And I didn't see Winston Duke at all either.
Oh, really?
I think
he was there. He was leading. He was one of the leaders of the.
No. I think he was there. I didn't see him, and like I thought he was going to be more of the movie, but like he wasn't. Which I'm like,
Yeah, no, like when they first like this giant group of people, he's like in the front of the pack. So he's
and our king is alive.
And Black Panther is there. No, T'Challa.
Yay! It was so good.
It was just that moment. Is just the whole fight scene is pure geekery. It's just pure.
Yeah, the third act is basically just a fight scene, but it is awesome.
It's just like everything like you would want. It's like forget about like the cinematography. Forget about anything else. This is just like pure geek stuff just coming at us. Like I was freaking out the whole time. It was so much fun.
Yeah, so Spider-Man and Iron Man reunite and there's like this nice hug and he's like explaining like there's like this weird thing and like I thought I just woke up and then Doctor Strange was like 5 years later and we're just like what? so yeah, and then just fight. So fight ensues.
But there is a lot of aliens. There is a lot of like weird aliens that are fighting. They have a giant army. But there's a strange moment, right? Where it's like they bring out the big guns, basically bring out the big guns and start shooting everybody. Mm-hmm. But then there's a point where the guns go up and they start shooting at something in the sky.
It's Captain Marvel Ex Machina.
And that's when I lost my mind. As I was losing, I was like, as soon as they put up the sky, I'm like, oh my god, it's her. Oh my god, it's her.
If anybody didn't see our reviews, like we enjoy Captain Marvel and we like Captain Marvel quite a bit.
Yes, and I just, I may have shouted that she may or not be like the love of my life at the screen, and I was like, I love her.
But I was wondering because there's something of like, she's gonna defeat Thanos, which like I think at this point she doesn't really deserve to defeat Thanos,
right? Not because she didn't have the she didn't have like the personal stake in it.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't really want. She can beat him up, which she did. Good for him. And then also back to because Gamora and Nebula are there, and back to the point about Peter Quill being a punching bag because he sees Gamora and he's like,
I thought I'd never see you again.
And then she just kicks him in the balls.
But she's not, she doesn't have the memories that the Gamora that Peter knew did, which is so sad.
But I think it's like a thing of like Gamora's like, seriously, this guy? Well, because you were upset because like
him or a tree.
Because you were upset because like they were kind of like pushing forward too much of the romance, but now that's kind of like
so that puts us in a very interesting position. I'm so curious how Guardians.
There's a couple things to put us in. There's a couple things to put us in an interesting position for the next Guardians movie.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, let's talk about that.
But anyway, fight scene. So there's a fight scene, and then they're trying to fight in the gauntlet. Hawkeye's got the gauntlet, but they got to get it too because they need more things. And also the Wasp is there.
Yes. So it was good to see her.
So they're gonna get to the van thing to do the thing.
Yeah.
They Then it's like keep away. So first T'Challa has it, and there's that thing, and then who else? I know Spider-Man has it, but I think somebody's between him.
Yeah, I think there was a couple in between, and I forget who. Because it's, like I said, it's basically just the most epic game of keep away you've ever seen in your life.
So that thing, and then there's like, I think somebody, like one of the, well then we see Scarlet Witch and she's upset at Thanos because, Vision did.
And she does, like, she gets real close to beating Thanos. Like, she gets real close.
And then, like, they're like,
killing him.
I don't know if you guys can, like, that nice, like, three-way girl fight thing in Infinity War is nice, but can you up it? The answer is yes.
Yes. When every badass lady gets together to protect their newfound son, Peter Parker. It's like, who is this strange spider boy? I have now adopted him as my son. And then
who doesn't want to adopt Peter Parker?
So yeah,
let's be fair.
So Captain Marvel, she comes down to save Peter, takes the gauntlet from him, and all the ladies band together to help clear a path. And by God, is it epic! That was also like another just pure geeky moment where like it is like the girl power moment, but it was still like, oh my God, I was geeking out. Does this also count for one of my squares?
I think it did.
Which is Captain Marvel and Valkyrie team up, and then in parentheses, and I cry.
Did you cry?
I was very emotional.
Yeah, so then they keep fighting, and then I think Thanos at some point gets the gauntlet.
Yes, he does get the gauntlet. And
then there's like a scene with Tony, because like there's a point where he says to Strange, was this the future he saw? And he's like, if I tell you what happens, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then they're like doing...
But he does
and then Thanos snaps again, but there's no gauntlets there. And then Tony has all the stones.
Yeah, because he's able to take the
yeah, first Thanos says, I am inevitable. And then Tony's like, I am Iron Man. Snap.
And that's, we just pulled it all together. Like, that is the inception and, the closure of this arc is the Iron Man line.
Yeah, and then all the bad guys get dusted. Yeah. So all the bad guys get dusted away, and then because Iron Man's a human, he dead.
Yeah, like Iron Man can be very powerful with this tech that he built, but at the end of the day, he is still a man.
And it wasn't even like because like half his body was burnt, and I'm just like, I didn't see this coming. We didn't see it coming.
I was like, when he used it, I was like, oh, he's not going to make it through this.
Like, I think the reason, like, I thought that was because Robert Downey Jr. has stated, like, I will play Iron Man until I die. So I just assumed, even if he, like, retires, he's going to come back.
Right.
But they're like, nope.
So, till you die, all right.
But that's, like, but, like, honestly, like, looking back at even, like, Tony's character arc, it actually makes perfect sense that, like, it's him.
Yeah, I agree, because I thought the end of his arc was going to be he goes into retirement, but it's been proven at several points where Tony says he's going into retirement and then can't resist it. Like, there's a scene between him and Pepper where she says that, like, basically says that she knows that he can't stay away from it. He knows that this is like that's you can go to sleep,
but you can't rest.
Yes, exactly.
Because like his arc is basically like he's like this like cocky playboy, and then he finds out that like the weapons that they've been making like have been destructive, and like feels guilt about it, and is like a bit quippy. And then everything that happens in the Avengers, he gets severe PTSD and anxiety about it, and then he just like constantly does stuff like create Ultron,
right?
And like want to agree with Sokovia to protect everybody
because he's always trying to atone for something, to fix something. He's no matter what, he can't stay away if he has the ability to help. So that's why at the end of his character arc is he does the last thing that he can do, and that's it. So it's like, it does make sense. I was even though
it was emotional. Like I'm just like,
it was.
No. And then like he has like, and then Peter's freaking out, and then he gets that line bit with Pepper saying like, you can rest now. And I'm
that was very well done, because it's like it's so interesting because it's not a line where she's like begging him to hang on, because that's what Peter is there for. She understands that like this is it, and she's
like, we'll be okay.
There's a lot of there's a lot of not maturity, but there's a lot of what she brings. That scene there is really great, because it's not just the typical like, oh my God, I can't lose you. It's it's like, okay, like,
and honestly, like considering that like now. Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. started this whole thing, it made perfect sense.
Yeah, it did kind of complete that arc there. Yeah.
Did that count for your bingo card that there's a character arc that gets completed?
I had 2 character arcs getting completed.
I mean,
so
technically,
I did circle it. Who was the other one?
Maybe.
Captain America, I guess.
Yeah.
in a way, but like I didn't circle it, but yeah, the box was, despite the 5,000 characters, we have at least 2 have complete character arcs. So
I think maybe you could argue that like Black Widow kind of has a complete character arc, and like that's why she's sacrificed. Like both of those characters are interesting enough because they're trying to atone for something,
right?
And the best way, and the only way, the final way that they can atone to themselves is to sacrifice themselves,
right?
To save everybody who they care about.
Yeah. So I left it uncircled. If you guys agree with that, let us know, because I'm curious to see what you guys think there. But yeah, so that's kind of where that big old ending.
We get a nice funeral with like everybody.
Did you see there was like a random like guy who was standing alone?
I noticed that, and then I looked, and then like for some reason looked up. It was
yeah. So like I was like, oh my god, who is that guy? Because like I've seen all these movies, I should know everything. And then like halfway through, as the camera's panning off him, I like turned to my dad and I'm like, that's the kid from Iron Man 3.
How did he find out though? I mean, did somebody call him? Like, has he been keeping in contact with this kid?
Maybe he has been keeping in contact with the kid. Maybe, like, we don't know what happens stuff, you know?
All right. And so then they give, like, they set, like, his first arc reactor core off to sea.
Where it says proof that Tony Stark has a heart, and it's really good.
And then...
And it is very touching.
Yeah, that was nice. And then there's a nice scene between Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. Oh, but what about the scene between Happy and Morgan? That was really sweet. Where
I think like some people say like they want, like he wanted to get with Pepper, but then like if you look at the new Spider-Man movie, he wants to get with May.
Yeah, in the comics, Happy and Pepper get together at some point.
I mean, well, Gwyneth Paltrow kind of said like this was their last movie, which I don't know how nobody saw like put that together, but like it kind of makes sense. But but like I mean, you know, I like Happy. He's gonna take care of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
But then there's a scene like.
With Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch, yeah.
They're kind of like reminiscing that like they couldn't get Black Widow or Vision back, and they're like, I wish they could see this, and it's like they know, and it's like this nice little moment.
It is nice.
And then they got to get the stones back.
Yeah, they have to return the stones to their proper time, so there's no weird offshoot timelines, and so everything can kind of fit.
Oh wait, before that, we should probably mention the other weird thing for Guardians. So Thor's a Guardian now.
Yeah, I thought that happened after that, but yeah.
No, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so the Guardians go back to space, and Gamora isn't there, so we don't know if she actually got dusted when the Thanos snapped. We don't actually know what happens to her. She's probably with Nebula.
Did she come back to life after the Soul Stone thing?
No, well, they can't bring back people who sacrificed the Soul Stone.
Has that been stated?
Yes, because Bruce says to. I forget who he said it to, but when he's saying how much he misses. Black Widow, he says that I tried so hard when, he snapped and to get everybody back, to bring her back as well. He said he tried so hard, but he can't do it because she was sacrificed for the Soul Stone. Those who, Well,
so. Past Gamora's still out there. Like, I'm not saying she should have a relationship with Quill, but I'm saying can she just come back into the Guardians?
Right, which is interesting. I jokingly call Guardians of the Galaxy 3 the search for Gamora.
So, no, but I can see that. But honestly, the fact that it's called, what is it, like the Thors and the Guardians now? Like, I guess officially it's probably gonna be in the third movie. Do you know how much fun that's gonna be?
That's gonna be so much fun. Yeah, well, the Guardians get ready to go back to do their own thing in space, and Thor's like, I'm gonna come along. He leaves Asgard to Valkyrie. He says that
it should be.
He says you're a great leader. Like, this is what you're meant for. I have to do what I'm meant for, not what I thought I was supposed to do. So he has to go and find that.
Valkyrie's queen, as it should be.
Hell yeah.
And then, so that's going to be, so then the third, what is it, like, I think it's called the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, which is really funny.
Anyway, back to the stones, so.
Yes.
So Captain America decides that he's going to be the one who's going to return all the stones. Which, I think we can get to the logic of this later, but then they're like, all right, he's going to come back, and then I'm like, oh, he ain't coming back.
Right.
So then he doesn't come back, and then Bucky's like, Sam, look. And there's this old guy sitting on a bench.
I was like, oh my god. Well, it's so funny because the moment he's like, and coming back now, and I'm like, oh, he's staying there. He's gonna stay. He's staying. I get it.
Which is funny because I said I think Cap has to die because he doesn't seem like the type of guy who can just go off into the distance and forget not come back to help the fight. But then I'm like, okay, well this Cap can't do that in the modern time. But if he goes back, because he was somebody who always did want to have a life.
Right.
He was going to fight in the war, and then he was going to go back and have a life. And then he never got that because of, movies.
Right, because Captain Cap's always been about, like, he's always been, like, duty first kind of thing. Like, you know, he always wants to fight the fight. So, like, the completion of his character arc, because it's kind of like how we got these with these wires switch. I thought Iron Man's completion of the arc was him, like, retiring to go do something. For him, like, stepping back and say, okay, I'm done with this. But, you know, we kind of summed up how that couldn't really work. And then the completion of Cap's character arc is saying, you know, is him being able to say, because he's always been kind of the first to put himself on the line, is being able to step back and say, like, I want, you know, I need a life. So I thought that was really
so old
like,
age makeup
sense.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, which is really good, really great old age.
Well, I think like
makeup
somebody said like shouldn't he technically be older? But then I'm like, if you think of like the serum, it probably ages him slower. So he looked about like I'd say like 80 something.
Right, like he didn't look like a dude who was like 100. But like the super soldier serum probably did great for aging. So like
so then they're talking, and then Steve's got a wedding ring on, and you're just like, oh,
and you're like, oh,
and then he like has the shield, and then he gives it to Sam, and he's like, are you sure? And we're like, yes. And then because I was like concerned because like I thought like Bucky may be upset because like their friendship technically lasted longer because you know like growing up and crap. Right. But like, he gets a Bucky approval, so the new Captain America is Falcon.
Yes, which is how it is in the comics. So
I think haven't they both been Captain America though? Technically,
I think so. Yeah.
So Sam Wilson, Captain America, yay!
So hey, which checked off a thing on my bingo card, which says heartfelt passing of the mantle moment.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. But I think like my one like concern about Sam being Captain America is like where is he going to put the shield with his wings?
Maybe on his belt or something, or just holds it the whole time.
But okay.
It's a good question.
And then, like, the last scene's also really quiet.
Yeah.
And it's really sweet. And I'm just like, because it's just like you go back to, like, I'm going to say, like, the late 40s, because, like, you don't know if, like, he went, like, right after he got sung into the ice or, like, a couple years later.
Right.
But, like, he got married to Peggy and they're dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
The end. Yeah. It's, it's such, like, an interesting ending because it is like a very quiet ending, right? It's a very like soft ending. But somehow it like really just wraps everything up because we're ending in peace, right? It's supposed to be like a very peaceful kind of moment.
Yeah, which kind of makes me wonder like what they're going to do next. Because like everything seems like, not that everything seems well, because like obviously something can go wrong.
Right.
But like, I guess, like, that might be theories, but, like, we've been talking for a while, so maybe, like, we should combine theories and, like, maybe, like, our logic problems. Do you want to talk about the time travel? Because, like, I'm kind of so confused about that.
What do I have to say about the time? Well, the time travel stuff is tricky, because anytime you have a movie about time travel, you're always going to bring up something. Like, you can't do time travel right, because time travel has so many possibilities. So, like, tell me about why you're confused.
I guess, like, and obviously, it doesn't bother me because I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out, I guess, because, like, I'm trying to figure out, so, like, is it if you change something, you make another alternate reality? Is that, like, the logic we're going with?
Yeah.
But then if you go with that, how did Old Man Cap get back to there?
Well, so it's more like the way that the Ancient One describes it. It's if you take the Infinity Stone out and don't return it, you're creating an offshoot timeline. And Bruce explains because he conjures up the stone when he's trying to re-explain it. He's like, okay, but like we understand that if you take it, then it creates an offshoot timeline. But if we bring it back to the exact time and location that we put it, it puts everything back. So when they returned it to when it should be, then that's when everything kind of settled and locked in. So
okay, so like everything's off for a bit, but then you put it back in, and then everything's fine, and like technically all the stuff happens.
Right.
Okay, and then I saw this like theory online about because then you're wondering, okay, well, how did Old Man Cap get there? Mm-hmm. So like I think the idea is that, no, I think like the theory that I heard was that there's technically now like two Captain Americas running around. Yeah. And there's like the part in Winter Soldier where Peggy's talking about her husband. And the thing is, like, what if that was actually Steve and they were just kind of hiding it?
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, she actually had that life with Steve, and, like, that Steve would just, like, knew everything that was going to happen, so it's, like, kind of, like, hiding from people. Mm-hmm. And then, like, and then, like, when he knew that, like, younger Cap was going to be at the hospital to visit Peggy, he just wouldn't go and he would wait.
Right.
And, like, that kind of thing. But then you also have the thing of, like, well, then wouldn't he be hanging out with Sharon a lot? That's kind of a thing.
Yeah,
that
unless he was
not
like
wanna bring
really
up.
under the radar. Unless he like was a homebody.
Well, listen, that Cap didn't know, and the other one's kind of like, yeah, that was awkward. Maybe I just shouldn't tell anybody. And I'll just like, because like obviously probably she wouldn't, like Sharon probably wouldn't have recognized him because he was probably
He was
like
older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of got dropped. It's fine.
Yeah, it's so funny that like nobody ever brought up Sharon after Civil War, and that's fine because we don't really care. She was fine.
Yeah, I think it was like,
Whatever.
I think like logic-wise, I think you could probably take this movie apart a little bit.
Yeah, well, especially with the time travel stuff, especially with the ending part, and you try to work out the logistics of Captain America being there for like just a second one of him being around for a very long time.
But that's like a thing. Like I know several time travel movies where they explain how it works, and then they break it for like a really emotional moment, and I'm like, I don't care that you broke it.
Right.
I know
like it was done because it had a very good emotional impact. So that's why I don't really care. It's not a big deal. Like there is a logic problem. Like time travel is weird. There's no way to do it right. But it was used effectively, even if there were some hiccups.
Yeah, so I guess like my theories for like what's gonna come next. I know they're gonna announce everything that's coming up at like D3 or something, but like what's gonna be next for like event? Because it doesn't feel like there's like an Avengers team right now.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure. Are they planning to make another like Avengers title movie, or are they just kind of? Because what they could do is structure it more like they did Civil War, which Civil War was an Avengers movie, but it didn't have the Avengers label. So what they could do is just, have different character movies that just bring in more characters. So I think that might be like, more in line
TV
with
shows
it.
that they're doing. There's the TV shows that they're doing as well, which like, I especially want to see the Bucky and Falcon one.
Yeah, me too. That would be fun.
Yeah, so like I guess I'm like wondering, I don't know like what Scarlet Witch is gonna do. I feel like she's gonna try to maybe see a way there's a way to get Vision back, or like move on. I think a lot of them are retiring, or other people have like their own crap going on. Who knows what Captain Marvel's doing? Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for the next Captain Marvel. I love her. Anyway,
I guess like I don't know, like I don't know if I loved her. I think I loved her more in like her origin story.
Yeah, well, that she actually had time to like flesh out the character, because I'm not sure if you heard this, but they actually filmed this movie before Captain Marvel. So Brie Larson did not know how to flesh out the character because they had zero chance to actually like build out the character, because she only had like 5 lines in this movie. So she was like kind of clunky character wise here.
Okay, I can forgive that then. But
so I agree, she wasn't like character like emotional or like like fleshed out wise. Didn't really have.
I did like her one
movie.
line where she was like, "Okay, well I can beat him, you got me," and then Rhodey's like, "Whoa, like, we're a team," and he's like, "Where have you been?" And then she's like, "There's other places that need me, and unfortunately they didn't have somebody like you." So like it was kind of like an arrogant line, but then it moved to like a nicer line.
Yeah, which kind of fell in line with who she is. So that was really nice. So it's interesting. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of weird to do another Avengers title movie, but like I think the way they can get around it is just have a central character do kind of what they did in Civil War to kind of.
Well, yeah, we should probably see what. But like I think a lot of people are saying this, and I kind of agree. If this was the ending, it was a good ending.
Yeah, I think it's like this. What like the ending it should have been. This was the ending it should have been. Yeah. Yeah.
So we approve. Do you think this is the best Avengers movie? Not your favorite, the best.
I don't think it's the best, but it was. So this really brings into the point I want you to talk about. So this is an excellent transition. Thank you.
Okay.
So the interesting thing about this movie is for the fans of these movies. This movie This movie wasn't meant to be a good movie in the sense that it wasn't meant to be like. Like a film, not like a film movie, like not, I'm not speaking like artistically here, but this movie wasn't meant for you to sit back and be like, this was a well put together film for like X, Y, and Z, like technical, like story building reasons. That's not what this movie was supposed to be. This movie was a movie for the fans. So I'm sure if we broke this down and looked at it from a very like specifically critical analytical lens, we could find a ton of problems with this movie. But it wasn't meant for that. The movie was meant for the part of us that when we saw all the women team up, we like freaked out. Like this movie is meant for the moments when a Cap calls Mjolnir over and we like freak out. Like that's what this movie is about. movie is about,
and keep away with everybody.
This movie is a very fan service movie in that it's showing us things that, you know, we feel satisfied when we see it, because these are the moments that we've been building to all of this time. And it's not necessarily those are good cinematic moments. They could be, and they don't have to. They could be, they could not be, but they don't have to be. This is the movie that's supposed to emotionally resonate with people who have been following this for the past 10 years. So, you know, the question is this a good movie? I don't know yet. I don't know yet as far as what a good movie, a good film is, if it's a good piece of cinema. But as somebody who just enjoys these characters, who has been so emotionally invested in this for so long, like, that's what this movie was made for. So I feel satisfied on that end.
I think because, like I said, like, I can rank my favorite, like, acts, but I don't think there was a bad act in the bunch.
Yeah.
Like, the drama stuff was, I thought, really well done, and, like, all of the you felt everybody gave a great performance in that, and it was, like, you could feel everybody's, like, pain.
Right, yeah.
Like, for the most, but I think, like, the person who had the least amount of pain was, like, Bruce Banner, but, like, you could tell, like, he went through a little bit of an arc, and he was okay.
Yeah, his whole arc was, like, off-screen.
And so, like, but everybody else, you could feel, like, their pain, and then the time travel stuff, like, you could break that apart, but it was honestly a lot of fun and emotional.
Yeah.
And then, like, despite the fact that, like, the most of the fight scene was fan service, I still thought it was a well-shot fight scene.
Oh, no, it was a great fight scene. Like, I feel like the Russo brothers have proven that they can do fight scenes, because, like, when they do fight scenes, I can follow the action.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of fight scenes where things are too close and I don't know what's going on. It's very hard for me to stay focused on it. But I always felt like any of the fight scenes that have been directed by the Russo brothers, like, I actually can follow them very well, and I really like how they're set up. So yeah, like, I agree that they were like good fight scenes.
Because, like, I was trying to think, because, like, I don't know if you could say this was like a perfect Marvel movie, or like and, like, there isn't, but, like, I mean, granted, like, for the most part, this is, like, 22 movies.
Yeah.
Where the worst thing you can say about Thor: The Dark World is meh.
Yeah. You're like, eh.
But that's so good, because, like, if you think of, like, any franchise, there's always a bad movie in there.
Yeah, and part of that reason is because, you know, Marvel's gotten flack for basically making the same movie 20 times. And, like, I actually
just watched a video saying, like, we take the MCU for granted, and, like, breaking down, like, how not every movie is actually the same, and if you actually look at, like, there is actually, like, several character arcs, and, like, you are beating these characters down a bit, and, like, making them realistic, and, like, because that's, like, the thing about them, it's like they feel like people.
Yeah.
So, like, because, you know, if we want to go to the DC universe, none of them feel like people.
Yeah.
None of them feel like people, so you're like, I don't care. Like, with this one, you, like, at a point you care, and, like, I honestly want to, because I was watching this guy's video, I forget what it is, but it was like, we're taking the MCU for granted, because, like, we just say it's, like, fun popcorn movies, and, like, all the movies are the same. And, like, he was, like, breaking it down, it's like, they're really not, if you actually think about it.
Yeah.
And I think, like, we are going to see, like, I think there's even some, like, academia with the MCU, as there, like, could be, because of, you know, what it is.
Right. Yeah.
And how, like, historically impactful it is. But I think, like, if we actually go back and rewatch all the movies, we might actually find more into it, knowing how it's all going to end.
Right.
Because there was, like, this, they played a scene from Doctor Strange where, like, after one of the fight scenes, and Chiwetel Ejiofor says, like, this line, or, like, says, like, the line, "There is no other way." And, like, Strange is like, "You don't have an imagination." Which, like, I don't know, like, how that deals with, like, this philosophy of, like, there was only one way. Right. But I guess it's, like, there's only one way where, like, yeah, like, it's still gonna end tragically, but, like, there is no way we're gonna win this where everybody comes out happily ever after. Right. Like, somebody's gonna have to die, you just have to make that decision.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. I do have one criticism with the Russo brothers. I'm not sure if you heard, but, like, so I think it was some of the cast that was talking or whatever, like, how they filmed the movies, they were, like, super weird about spoilers, so, like, they wouldn't even tell some of the actors sometimes who they were fighting or, like, what was happening. I don't agree with that as a directorial decision. So I do want to, like, kind of put that out in the universe.
I've seen that with, like, because I watch Game of Thrones, they do that as well, and I've seen it with a bunch of shows, so, like, they're just, like, and, like, I think I read somewhere on Wikipedia that, like, the only person who got the entire script was Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
I think it's just because, like, just in case, like, somebody accidentally spoils something, which I get, but I think, like, for filming, you need to, like, I think, like, if you're filming something, you need all of your bits, at least, and then maybe a couple others, like, you know how to react, but I think it's smart.
Well, you need to, I mean, what you need is to make sure the actors have everything they need to understand their character and what they're doing. Because if you don't even tell like the people like what their lines are until like the day of filming or something like that, if you don't give them the time to see the context of the big picture and how everything fits together, you're not going to be able to grab the best performance out of them. So that was one of the criticisms that
I think
I wanted to
honestly,
give.
like, you think that most of the people who got dusted, they were kind of just like glorified cameos.
They really were.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was the interesting thing of just like these six plus Rhodey and Rocket and Ant-Man.
Yeah.
But these core people started it. If it wasn't like, yes, like they had these like independent movies, but if it wasn't for the Avengers, none of this would have happened.
Right. Yeah.
Which is true. Like if you can go back and watch the first Avengers movie, and it's still a fun movie, but it's probably not that great compared to everything else. But like the fact of the matter is that historical impact.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, like the impact of the original Avengers. I mean, that's illustrated in the end credits when where you have everybody gets like this very large this send off of them kind of showcasing their best moments and with the cast signatures and everything, which was a really great moment. I think that was a great kind of tribute to them.
Because I'm not gonna saying for the credits, but like there was no end credit scene.
So what there was, they had the Marvel logo and it was a sound effect, and the sound was the sound that in the first Iron Man movie of Tony building the original Iron Man suit in the cave. So that it kind of tied everything together. So it was nice.
Hooray!
So it was heartfelt. But yeah, so wow, we talked for a long time.
We did, and like I'm still trying to. I don't know. Like right now, maybe like I need to go back and watch all the Marvel movies actually. But right now, this feels probably like the best one. But I think it's like how like the last. I feel like my favorite Harry Potter movie is the last one because it just like it brings everything together and it did so well. Yeah. It's not. I still think like. I'm still going to watch Guardians more often, but like...
Yep. Oh, Guardians, the first Guardians is a movie I can go back to time and time again.
Oh, I've done that before. I kind of do like not want to... I don't think I can do... Because like if you do a whole marathon of like all 22 movies, it's going to take you like 2 days.
It's going to take a long time.
I think if you can like... I would love to just like break down like every movie, but like obviously like separate it by like okay, we're going to do phase 1 and then phase 2.
We would have to make a whole podcast for that. So if you guys want to see us make a whole podcast for that,
well, I've always had the idea of like doing like a film where you break down series, and I think this counts. So like you could just split it up decently.
Yeah. So that,
but
we'd have to take some time because I need some time to like, process everything that's gone on here.
I do have a question because like your free space was like you cry, but like you're not a crier.
My free space was I openly weep in a crowded movie theater. I don't cry at a lot of things. I'm not a crier.
Did you cry?
I did a little bit. Like a little bit.
I thought, like, I didn't get teared up because, like, and somebody, like, said to me, like, you didn't tear up when Tony died? And I'm like, he got a hero's death, and that doesn't make me cry. It makes me, like, happy.
Right.
Like, it's like, you got a good death.
Yeah. I think the scenes that made me most emotional in this film were the beginning scenes. Like, so the Hawkeye scene was, like, the scene of Ant-Man looking for his daughter. What was this scene? What else were in the beginning?
Black Widow being all depressed and not taking care of her roots.
That didn't make me.
I did because she just looks so sad.
Some of the early stuff with Tony and Nebula alone on the ship, some of that stuff got tough. But
by the way, like the way like they like CGI'd like Robert Downey Jr. because he looked like pretty emaciated when he got back.
Oh, that was really tough to look at. That was a hard one. But and also at the end with the old Cap and passing the shield to Sam, that whole scene when then closing out with him and Peggy like that.
We approve of like Anthony Mackie taking up the basically being the leader now.
Absolutely.
I don't know like how I feel about like I like Sam. Mm-hmm. But, like, I'm not sure how I feel about him. He, like, kind of... I don't know if he feels, like, one-dimensional, but, like,
he hasn't gotten... Well, he's been a pretty static character because he's been there... Because he's a support character, so he's been there to support Captain America so far and, like, support his ideals and stuff. So now we get to see him kind of grow into his own character. So
but that being said, I think, like, Anthony Mackie's one of my favorite people ever, so I'm okay with this. Yeah. And, like, oh, my God, I want to see him in an interview, like, now. Because, like, he's, like, one of the best interviewers because he's just, like, so funny. Mm-hmm. And I want to see him, like, go on, like, one of the talk shows and, like, basically, like, they're going to say, like, so you're Captain America. And I want to see him, like, his reaction because he's, like, he might be, like...
I love it. So, Dare, before we close out, I would like everybody to know that I got bingo. So I'm not sure
you
if you can
did,
see
and I don't,
phone.
and
I got the straight line, middle row, all the way across. Which
I think the last time I disapproved of it because I didn't think there was hope in Infinity War, and this time I'm like, I think I approved of all of it.
Yeah, so let me just go through them. So I got the line straight across,
Okay.
which is really surprising considering, because like everything I thought was going to happen in this movie like didn't really happen. I really got these on like technicalities, because especially after the first
Cap
20
dies,
minutes.
I mean it this time.
So all right, so my line I have is Tony and Pepper have a baby. Check.
Yes.
Heartfelt passing of the mantle moment. Check. And the free space, which is I openly weep in a crowded movie theater. Check. And then unexpected cameo from a character we haven't seen in a long time. And then
Which was several.
yeah, and then Loki. Loki. It says
I'm looking
Loki,
at
just
like,
Loki.
oh, also, Quicksilver didn't show up, Cailin, again.
Oh my god, they just didn't even get mentioned. Like he was Scarlet Witch's brother, and she never talks about him ever. And I'm like, really? Because I thought he was gonna, because I always think Quicksilver's going to show up in some capacity. They don't even talk about him. She talks more about Vision, a guy she knew for like a year more than her actual brother. I'm like, whatever. So anyway, that's a whole side
but like
tangent.
they were in love.
It's true.
Not her and her brother. You know what I mean?
Well, and the ultimate version of the comics. That's a whole other
I'm looking
thing.
at what else you got. I'm looking at what else we wrote, and then
Do you want?
Hope doesn't come out till late, and it's gonna be epic.
He did not. The way he came out actually is super interesting, and I'm fine with it. A lot of these ones that I got wrong, I'm pretty fine with.
I think, except for Cap dies, and I mean it this time.
Yeah. It's Cap dies in parentheses. I mean it this time.
And we were so wrong.
Yeah. I did miss out on I have a vegan reunion between Captain Marvel and Fury. Would have been nice to see, but that's okay.
That didn't really happen though, did it?
No, they are standing. They're both standing on a porch at the at Iron Man's funeral, but that's about it.
You also said a lot of people died, but for real this time that also didn't happen.
Also
really.
didn't happen. I was very surprised. I thought like
Basically, like two people died, and then like everybody who stayed dead before the snap is technically still dead.
Right. So it's not a lot of people.
So I do kind of wonder how they're going to bring back Vision, and like technically Gamora is around, so we'll see.
So yeah. All right.
I think I can watch Infinity War now because like that was such a gut punch, and now that I know how it ends, I'm like, I think we're good. I don't think I can watch for a while. Like, I think we need to go back and watch the first Avengers, or I think Black Panther's still on Netflix. I can go watch that.
I just watched Thor Ragnarok on Netflix. that's what
good
I watched
too.
yesterday. I really love that movie. But yeah, okay. So we've kind of been going for a really long time. I feel like we should wrap this up.
Yeah, we should probably stop. But overall, good movie. You probably saw it already.
You probably already saw it, so why are you listening?
It made $1 billion its first weekend.
Oh boy, howdy!
I think that movie's gonna break. I don't know if that's become the highest grossing movie of all time, but
I'm not sure, but it'll get up there, for sure.
I think maybe like number 2. What's number 2 now? Titanic.
I have no idea.
Maybe if it beats Titanic, that'll be pretty epic.
I have.
And then it'll be beaten by then I would say be beaten by one of the Avatar movies, but that's not gonna happen.
Who's actually going to go see that? Well, who knows? That's a story for another day.
Do we want to do the social media stuff, or just like bye, we're tired?
We can do the social media stuff real quick, guys. If you like this, leave us a comment below, maybe. Tell us about your thoughts about this movie, because I would love to hear them, and I want to know what you guys thought.
Tell us if you want us to watch every single Marvel movie.
Yeah, if you want that to be like a whole
series. It's in the MCU, not the other ones. I don't feel like watching any X-Men movies, honestly.
I don't feel like watching any X-Men.
But that didn't come up either. There were no X-Men and/or Fantastic Fours.
Yes, I thought that was on my bingo sheet. I thought we were going to see something there. But so yeah, if you guys have any questions about that, if you like my bingo sheet, if you have some problems with my bingo sheet, let me know, and I'll try not to get too offended. So so if you guys really like us, you can follow us on a variety of social medias. I'll just quick shout out. We're on Facebook at Witty Close Productions, and you can follow us on Twitter. We are at Witty Close. Tweet at us. Love to hear your thoughts. Send us your Endgame memes. I would like to see them.
Are there any? Right? I guess it's like it's not. It's you got to wait a little bit for the memes.
People like straight up like are just posting tons of spoilers about Endgame on social media. You guys are jerks.
Really? I haven't seen. I guess I've like seen like some, but I was like really adamant about avoiding internet.
Yeah, I wasn't like I was trying to stay off the internet for the past couple of days, but now that I saw them, people like post them all over the place. So
I think like by Sunday you're like. You probably saw it, or
yeah. Well, I know people who couldn't see this weekend. And I feel so bad. But like So anyway, follow us on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're also on iTunes, where you can follow us on there. Follow us for our main series, which is First Reaction, Fan Reaction.
We got three ratings now.
Yeah, that's exciting. Give us more. Leave us a review. Do stuff like that.
We're at a 4.5 out of 5, which is a nice,
If you want to support us because you really want to see us do a whole series where we talk about just the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because we would love to make it happen.
I think that'd be.
You can support us on Patreon. We are pretty close on there. And so that is it. Well, if you want to email us, we're like whatitgoes@gmail.com. Shoot us an email.
That is it. An hour and 40 minutes later. It's almost as long as the movie.
A whole review, which is just about as long as the movie itself. That's the question. Do we break this up? No, fuck it. We're just going to post the whole thing.
We did that with the last one, and we filmed that, so might as well.
Yeah, so let's do it. Anyway, I think that is all the time we have for today. Until next time, my name is Cailin Clothier.
I'm Dara Whitman.
Peace.